Hi Truthers, welcome back to my channel, Nutritious Lives and the Wellbeing Guinea Pig. Today I want to talk to you about affirmations and manifestation. I want to just briefly outline what it is, well maybe not briefly, but talk about what it is. Talk about my own specific and individual way of manifesting and how I can help my clients going forward and how you can apply this to your own life. So we are all born as being able to manifest. This is something that's innately in us. However, because of our circumstances, either positive or negative, that does play a part in the manifestation process. Obviously, because of me going through the emotional struggles that I've gone through, obviously I manifested anxiety and consequently depression into my life. Now, when I say that, I'm not proportioning blame at myself, and I'm not proportioning blame at anybody, laying blame at anybody else's door. However, when we look at it in terms of we aren't responsible for going through these experiences because we don't know unless we taught these things, and let's face it, we're not taught these things at school. We're not taught about these life skills at school. So we can, and there's that much of a bombardment coming left, right and centre. You don't know which way to turn. However, we are 100% responsible for getting ourselves out of these situations when we know. So, you are responsible for this perpetual cycle, whether it goes on or whether you decide today or decide whenever that you're going to put an end to this and you're going to change your viewpoint because it hasn't been working for you, for your best outcome, for your abundant life, for the life that you want to strive for. So we're all able to manifest as children. But as I say, so positive and negative things come into our environment, and how we use that information means that do we take that on as a negative, and do we then create these not very nice situations from the things that have gone on in the past, or do we choose to override the system in effect and have a better outlook and outcome for our future? So in the last video or the time before, I talked about my viewpoint on how I look at love and what I'm currently going through with regards to detaching myself from a love interest. I could have quite easily, and I could quite easily take that on as it's something that is missing within me because I wasn't chosen the way that I would have liked to have been chosen, that there's something detrimental going on with me. We all have a choice, so it's how you frame it. So this is that, and that's just one facet. You can use this with any interpersonal relationships you have. So relationship with your parents, relationship with your friends, relationship with your co-workers, the viewpoint of how you generalise certain things in society, how dangerous society is, how, or on the flip side, we can look at this in a very loving way. So most people are good, even though I go through these experiences, I still see that, that is just something that happened once, and then what's the odds of that happening again? It's all these, this is all manifestation, and this is all going forward, how you apply these situations to your life. So I want you to be clear with this. The fundamental fact is our thoughts create our reality. And there's no escaping that or shirting around it. Our thoughts create our reality. So what the conversations we're having on a daily basis makes a difference to how you view things 2 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, a month from now, a year from now. But what I want you to understand is if we decide today, so for example, we decide that we no longer looking at the way we look at our job, for example, it's not serving us to have these thought processes around our co-workers, because I feel paranoid, I feel like they're always saying not very nice things about me, everyone gets ahead, I'm always left behind, the boss never wants to, give me a break, or all of that. And we instinctively start to realise the problem lies with our own conversations within. Then we need to change it today. But what I want you to understand with affirmations, and this is why, and what I'm learning, and what I'm, remember, I'm doing this real time, so this is all very real time for me when I'm talking about it. It's a bit of an experiment, because we're gonna look back incrementally. I'm gonna do updates on these videos, and I'm gonna tell you exactly the ways that I've changed. But coming back to the point, so we have to decide today that we're no longer gonna think that way. Right, so for example, me, and what I'm currently going through is I'm going to look at the love interest that I had, and is now no longer there, and I'm changing the story. So no longer am I going to look at that as Prince Charming, or no longer am I going to look at that person as that we were meant to be my one. I am now going to see it, and I am seeing it. This has been, it's been a little while that now I'm seeing that was the story that I created. I created this story within my mind that we were meant to be like star-crossed lovers, and he's gonna realise that I'm so special and lovely, and all those things. And now I realise that was just the story that I created, and that wasn't the way that person was viewing me, even though I wanted that. And when you fall in love, this is the sort of stuff that you want. If you allow your brain to create these stories that now I can see the truth of the matter, that this person was never going to be that person for me, and I'd created all that within my own mind. So what I'm doing now is I'm telling myself a different story, that I'm moving on, and I see that person was never going to be my one, that was never going to be a long-term partner for me, how it couldn't work, and not being detrimental. And this is the key as well. Also, for me, because I don't want to ever carry, and like I've said to you previously, I don't want to carry any ill will around in my person. So if I start saying about someone I'm affirming about, that they're horrible, and how could they have done that to me, when things were said, promises were made, and then obviously that person never felt anything towards me, it was a big game. And if you start doing that, then you are carrying that around within you, and again you're still affirming, so that's still the story that you're telling yourself. So this is why I say, now I'm seeing the story, and I'm talking about taking my energy back with love, because I want my brain to be as resilient as possible to the situation. I want to take any negativity that I would potentially carry around off my shoulders, if that makes sense. And you can apply this again, like I was saying, to work, to co-workers, to the way you look at your brother, your sister, your friend who you've had an argument with. Those same principles can be applied there. So I'm changing this story, and the way that I'm applying this, I'm also doing affirmations in a very general sense, in the sense of with my career. So I don't want to what I've for me and what I feel would work for me. You can go very direct with things. You can go extremely direct with affirming, but for me, I don't want that pressure of being direct. So when I say, for example, that you can affirm, and you can, say you affirming for wanting to attract a love interest into your life. So you can affirm directly saying, I want this person that's in my brain to call me now. This person always wants to call me. Or, you can apply that to your friend. My best friend Sue always wants to call me. She thinks about making up with me. She, you can affirm in these ways, and you can create your reality by directly affirming. But for me, I feel like I don't want that pressure, and I don't need that pressure. I feel like for me, I'm looking at myself where I am now and where I'm going to be, and I feel like general affirmations, general manifestation feels better for my mind. So, for example, and I'll tell you the ways that I'm doing this affirming. So I have recorded on my little dictaphone. I've recorded fast-paced manifestation affirmations, and then in the evening I've done 5 minutes each, and then I've done slower, more relaxed affirmations for the evening. But things like I'm abundant, I am creating a wonderful life for myself, I am attractive within, without, people want to be around me, my energy is very high, I always make a difference in someone's life. I'm, all this type of thing. So you can do a general. So when I do my morning affirmations, they're very quick, in quick succession. Like, I sort of speed up my voice, and I do 5 minutes of that. And then in the evening, as I say, more relaxing affirmations. And in between, I'm listening to material that I love. I personally love Fearless Soul, and it's all to do with inspirational speakers, and they're quite condensed, and it's really just to just reiterate that type of thing within my mind. But you can make it very personal and specific to you, and what works for you. So some people, it works to do affirmations where it's mostly as in the mind, so imagining scenes. So when I say that, so when I'm talking about, say for example, my career and manifesting abundance, manifesting people in my life that I want to come into my life, because at the end of the day, why not? I want to manifest someone special into my life, and so we all should, right? But we want it to be the best person for us. And this is the other thing what I wanted to quickly say to you as well, is that when the right people come into our life, for example a love interest or our friends, whatever, it's not going to be hard. And this is the other thing. So what I'm realising is that I was trying so hard to try and make something work that was never going to work, and it was never going to work because it was hard. Because when the right type of people come into your life, it's not hard. Love happens without needing to fight for it. This is the thing, like without needing to really over try with anything, because the right people will just show you. They will show you without you needing to do anything. And that's the same with the friendship groups, and this is what we can affirm to get more of in our life. But it's trusting the process. And so for me at the moment, now what I've learned about manifestation and the process of affirmation, depending on how long you've been telling yourself a certain story. So I'll use another example. So if you've been telling yourself a story about I never get the job that I want, or I'm not intelligent enough, right? If I'm not intelligent enough to further my career into that direction, I can't because I'm crap at English, or I'm not very good at history, or whatever it is, whatever that story is. It really depends on how long you've been saying it to yourself. So if you've just, I've gone through this situation lately where I invested in and I fell in love, and it didn't work out. So, but as I've said to you in the previous videos, I haven't gone through lots of situations in my life, like, I haven't been cheated on, and I haven't been used and abused, and, gone through all these potential experiences as women or even as men that we could have gone through. So for me, this affirmation to pull my energy back and then invest it into something more positive and something more that is a better story for me, it shouldn't take a long time. But if you've been saying something since you were a child, maybe about your parents mistreating you, or whatever the scenario, it's going to take that bit longer, because it makes sense that you've been affirming this for like 30 years, 40 years, whatever, and then all of a sudden you want to change the story, but you've got to realize that initially it's going to feel like a lie. So going back to my situation with my affirming to maybe find someone special to come into my world, it's not going to be a massive amount of time. Apparently on average it takes around about 21 days, which is 3 weeks to a month, to change your thought processes on that. And I want you to just understand fundamentally as well, what's going to happen is, and remember, it's real time for me, so I'm going to update you with this and I'm going to tell you about my progress. But you start off by affirming, and it's going to feel like a lie. So this is how it goes. So you affirm, and so, right, I'll give you an example. So I've been, again, real time in what I'm going through. So I've been affirming a certain story about a certain person. So now the story is, and I'm starting to affirm, and it's going to take that time to just adjust. But I'm now changing that story to, I am looking for a new love, a real love. I told myself a story. It was never true. I take my energy back. I give. I take my energy back with love. I am no longer attached to this person. This person was never mine. And that type of thing. So you can, and when you're affirming, you envision taking the attachment back, taking the energy back, taking the love back, and putting it back into yourself. So initially that feels like it's a lie because of the story that you've told yourself, that it's the opposite. So what happens is, over the 2-3 weeks, and you do this and you affirm as often as you can, really, the other point I want to make, and there's a lot to think about with this, but when you get it like I'm getting it now. And so this is why I can comfortably apply it, because I kind of get it on an intellectual basis. But if you're telling yourself a story, and the story is when you're at work, or when you, whatever you're doing, if your story is in opposition to that what you want to affirm, then it's you're not gonna make those shifts, if that makes sense, because you can't just do 5 minutes of saying the opposite in the morning and then the whole day you're telling yourself something else and then expect the outcome to your brain have changed at the end of it. It doesn't work like that. You have to, when you find yourself ruminating, which means thinking about the past or thinking about the old story, you need to then come back to your senses and understand that you were ruminating and then change it to the new story, if that makes sense. So this is why I say I do the 5 minutes affirmation as a thing in the morning, just to kind of get me there. And also, you know, with me, it's my career, and abundance and joy and happiness and love and contentment and, you know, financial freedom and all the rest of it, as well as the taking my energy back from this love interest, personal to me. But then I also am affirming the story as I go, the story change as I go. So no longer am I then stuck in that cycle of, yeah, but I'm thinking about it for 5 minutes, but then my whole day is spent on the contrary, thinking it's something else. Right, and then, as I say, relaxing in the evening and then affirming. So not to over pressure it, but whenever you can, affirm as much as you can to change that story, right? So for me, as I say, it's a work in progress, but because I get it now on an intellectual basis and an intellectual level, that is the start of how you can gain momentum with it all. And then this comes into how I'm going to be able to help my clients going forward is, you know, if someone comes to me who's highly anxious, I can't expect them to affirm and change their story about their thoughts tomorrow. That is a process. So what we'd have to do is we'd have to start very small. So we'd have to start with, I'm healing, and these are the things that I tell myself as well, remember, because I'm still going through this transitional period myself. So, you know, I affirm with, I'm healing, I'm healthy, I don't carry a label of anxiety. That is not who I am within my soul, my person. This is something that my circumstances are just going through at the moment. So, but you know, whoever comes to see me and wherever they are on their journey, I have to meet them there. And then the goal will be for me, and this is why, you know, working with a life coach, for example, an anxiety coach, a manifestation coach, whatever, you can't just expect to come in, have 2 sessions with them and then walk out and your life's totally changed. It doesn't work like that, because there is a big process of change, and there's a big process that you have to understand, and you need to integrate within your brain. So, you know, if someone came to me and they were highly anxious, I would need to start and talk to them affirming in very basic terms, like, you know, today is a day, tomorrow is going to be a better day, I am healing every day, I am growing, I am changing, I am evolving, I'm finding solutions to my problems. So we have to deal with where we are today. And then, you know, in an ideal world, if the person has applied these principles and really worked on themselves to create this change, which, as I say, fundamentally change always just comes from within, then 6 months down the line, 8 months down the line, then we can change our affirmations. We can change the goal to be a bigger goal, to maybe realise what your purpose is on this earth, you know, what you're here for. You know, the transformation that you can make within that time could be profound, but you have to start at where you are. So don't look at yourself, as much as you can see yourself in the end, and it's good to visualize. So another thing is, so when I can, and when I'm in the mood and I don't pressure myself, I imagine in the end. So I imagine myself very successful in business. I imagine the opportunities in my business, and I imagine myself, say, in a hotter climate, abroad, and with, you know, potentially being able to travel, with meeting clients and that type of thing, and, you know, people thanking me for helping me through these circumstances. And I envision all that at the end. I've started to, now I'm fully grasping. I am envisioning meeting, you know, people, potential partners, a partner who wouldn't be hard work, that love would be easy, the attributes that I want in that person, the type of person that would light me up and give me joy. So, you know, creating thoughts about what you want, what the qualities this person would have, and so you can live in a future time, but honestly, wherever you are, I would say start small. I would say start small, start affirming, and once momentum starts coming in, that's when you can then go longer term and you can change it. Like I was saying, a client coming to me, I wouldn't reveal everything straight away and talk about all the these process, like, you know, finding out what you're here on this earth to do, what's your, you know, what's your special talent and what your life's purpose is. Because if someone comes to me highly anxious, there's no point in having that conversation, because they can't even think about getting through today, let alone a year's time, finding that they've totally transformed their life. So if you understand, you have to start from where you are, and you have to start small until momentum builds, and then you can change, you can totally transform. So this is where I'm at. So as I say, when I'm talking about this, I've got it on an intellectual basis and I'm putting it into practice, but I know that I've got to walk the walk and talk the talk. And I fully intend. The exciting part of it for me is because I totally trust the process. Even though I haven't got there, I totally trust the process, so I know I'm gonna get there. And what it's highlighted to me is, on a very positive note also, is that I can apply this as part of my career. So it's kind of like a double whammy for me, because, you know, if you're affirming again your own circumstances, but if you're affirming to you know, want to climb the corporate ladder, or you want to travel, and that's what you want to do, that's wonderful, and you can manifest what you want. However, for me, this manifestation is also very exciting, because I can apply it to giving this knowledge to my clients. So I'm just really excited about the outcome of it. Very complex what I've said to you, and I understand that you may need to watch this video a couple of times to get it integrated into your brain, but I'm trusting, and I want you to trust too. And if we trust the universe together, or God, or, you know, whatever floats your boat, if we put our trust in together, we can make such positive changes to our lives. So I've got faith. I've got faith in you, and I've got faith in me, and I'm going to give you an update when I've walked the walk a little bit further, and I'm going to tell you about revelations that have come to me. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.